Welcome to episode 180 of the Mug Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hadamia.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hi!
Hi! I was admiring your t-shirt. It's so cool.
Yes, it's Votes.
It's from our local record store, Radioactive.
Yes, Radioactive Records. It's so cute.
And by the way, like, how much do you love that it's right next to your house now?
Right next to my house.
Fucking awesome.
Which is great. And it was only $15 for this shirt.
Fucking A.
Good deal.
Love it.
Yeah, I was so excited when I saw it, and I was like, I'm getting this shirt. And
speaking of shirts, wait a minute. Look at my shirt! Oh, there goes the cat. I was like, the cat's sleeping right there. Wait a minute. I'm going to stand up, but don't judge me. Don't judge my cute belly.
You are adorable.
Somebody asked me.
It's so cute.
Okay. Let me show you. I mean, I think it's very cute.
It's so cute. Okay, right there. Perfect. And it says, this t-shirt has more rights than women in the state of Florida. And my favorite thing about it is like a cute alligator. I have to get
one of our many awesome designs. We've had orders coming in. Thank you, Annette, for ordering everything.
Yay!
I also want to get us mugs. I really feel like we should be drinking out of... We constantly drink coffee. We should be drinking out of Mug Podcast.
We should.
Mugs, for Pete's sake.
Yes.
All right, I'll get some and we can have them here at the house so we can drink out of them. But yeah, awesome. And a lot of our Mucksters started getting their thank you notes. Yes. I sent out 3 more, so if you haven't received yours yet, it's on its way. I had to get more stickers. And Nancy posted about it, and Josh. My good friend Josh sent me a picture of it on his laptop, so it's awesome. Exciting stuff.
Please go check it out. There is something that you will absolutely love, I promise.
Yeah, and thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you. So what you got? I actually did not have a list prepared till this morning, where I was just like, what happened this week? But the first thing I wanted to say to you is happy summer. You're out of work now for a while. That's nice.
Yes, it's been nice.
It's nice to have the kids, not have to race around and do all the things.
I mean, we're still racing around because there's still some sports stuff happening.
Oh, God.
And then there'll be summer school kind of stuff happening.
Oh, nice.
Not for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to see my aunt. I love my aunt.
Aww. Where?
She lives close by.
Oh.
But,
I thought you were going on a trip.
No, she's close by. But she's so cute. I had seen her last week, and I was like, oh, we'll have to stop by, had the kids come over. And then, of course, she immediately calls me 1 or 2 days later, and she's like, Tina, I want to see when you want to bring the boys. I'm going to make a laundry. So I'm like, okay, we'll come Monday. So we're going to go have lunch and hang out at the pool with my aunt.
Sweet.
Yes.
That's a good plan.
She's so cute.
Aw, adorable.
She's so cute. I love her so much. Oh my God, she's so cute.
So, a lot of things happening this week, but mostly my favorite thing ever, I don't know if you've watched it yet, is the mayor of the city of Miami, Francis Suarez, otherwise AKA Crypto Bro. I don't know if you've seen that song. It's to Kokomo by the Beach Boys is the song, but they do this parody called Crypto Bro. It is so... Thomas Kennedy posted it on his Instagram.
Love Thomas Kennedy cannot stand this guy.
I know.
It's
so good. Or it's Tomas Kennedy, I should probably, But this song is so fucking funny. Anyway, he announced his run for president of the United States.
Who else is going to get in this race? What other Yahoo?
Me too. Like I said, I'm going to jump into the fucking race. This guy is under federal investigation right now for all this bullshit, and he's taking bribes. All this shit is fucking wild. He is a must story, and all I can think is how is he running for president? This is how they make money. This is how a lot of these motherfuckers make money. Is they do this, they open a path, like Sarah Palin. Yeah. Remember, after she lost.
But then they just get to keep the money?
They get to keep the money.
That doesn't
Donald Trump's the same thing. I think it's, Donald Trump had run for president, jokey for, I don't know, 20 years. He did announce, maybe I'll run for president. But the same thing with, Sarah Palin. They make money by suggesting that they'll run for president.
It's so gross.
Yeah. So anyway, go to Francis Suarez. I think on his Instagram, you can see his, campaign kickoff video. It's fucking hilarious and weird. He's basically running all over the city of Miami You know, like he's a bro. Like he's, you know, he looks like a bro. He's like perfectly coiffed hair and like God. That the face of an evil politician. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like this Joker grin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he looks like a bad guy. Yeah, slimy. It just looks like a bad guy. So anyway, welcome to the race. I can't wait to see what happens. But you know, DeSantis has that face too. He's got that evil fucking slimy face.
He just looks like it's like he's constipated and pissed off and like
he's very angry.
It's bloated.
And it's all like right underneath the surface. It's like right there, you know?
It's a mess.
So speaking of Miami, like let's talk about the Trump arraignment.
Oh my God.
Fucking wild. And it's so weird because I was talking about all of this and the count, like the 37 counts. I wasn't in town when it happened, but like I kept saying, like, I can't believe he hasn't pointed the finger at somebody else yet. And, like, the very next day, he starts to say that this guy, I don't know if it was a valet or whatever this person was, his assistant, he told him, like, pack up my personal papers. This is the message he put out, the statement. Yeah. He told this guy who was a naval, you know, officer, like, retired, and he should know what he can take and what he can't take, but he took these documents. He's the one who packed the boxes. Oh. I didn't know. But meanwhile, like,
he's been talking about it. He was on what was it, Hannity or wherever, talking about how, like, he's allowed to have all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's such a liar.
But after the arraignment, it's like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. You know,
let me go blame.
Can't find a lawyer. Yeah. Can't find a lawyer. Nobody wants to represent him.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Also, like, here's what I don't understand. How do you, like, those pictures of, like, let's say it's, I don't know how many boxes it was. Was it 20, 30 boxes or something?
More.
Like, how do you get all, that didn't just happen overnight, like, when he was leaving. I feel like this stuff has been brought to Mar-a-Lago throughout his presidency, and he never returned it.
Listen.
Yeah.
This guy is all about making money.
Yeah.
And he saw
oh no, for sure.
dollar signs in these boxes.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. But they don't want to admit that. I saw some stupid clip. It wasn't like a Klepper, but it was like one of those like sort of Jews on the street at Trump rally kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, these boxes, and they're like, it's declassified. So that's the whole thing. They're all declassified. You're declassified. They're declassified. And then so he's like, oh, so they're declassified. But you know what I think? He's like, I think the host, I think Democrats planted them. And they're like, oh, absolutely. So it's like, well, they're either declassified and it's fine, or Democrats planted them and it's not fine. Like, which is it? It can't be both things.
Right.
But they'll say it. Like, we're dealing, and we say, I feel like I say it all the time, but I feel like we're dealing with people that are not in reality.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I put this clip up yesterday because I thought it was one of the funniest parts of the podcast when I said I would fuck JFK Jr.'s corpse. I mean, it was absolutely one of the proudest moments of my life.
So funny.
But, you know, they believe a lot of people are coming back. Like, they also believe Elvis and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, there literally is... Yeah, but there's literally somebody somewhere who is like, you know, we could try to... Yeah, you know, it would be great if we convince them that dead people are coming back.
Yeah.
Like, they'll never believe that. And they actually were able to do it. Like, they are able to convince people of anything. That's
it's like
fucking gullible, like, mind-blowing shit.
I feel like they're just taking, like, old headlines from the National Enquirer of the 80s.
Yeah.
And, like, making
or
it real.
the World, or whatever. What was that one that was, like, always black and white, had the baby alien on the front?
I think it was, like, the Globe, yeah.
I mean, they're just literally they probably have a dartboard of, like, the wildest shit ever. And just, like, let's see if we can convince them JFK Jr.'s MAGA and he's coming back from the grave. Or he's not really dead.
So
like, and they're literally doing it.
It's so stupid.
What a distraction from real life, you know? I've been having a conversation with a friend of mine messaged me, and she's like, well, we just got dropped from our homeowner's insurance, and the quote I got is for $20,000. Might be 14 if I got good credit for a year of insurance. And she's like, I've been thinking about you because I know, you know, and we went back and forth talking about it, but it's like, you know, and she had a point that I said too, like, you know, everything else on the table, like, I get it, putting abortion on the ballot, you know, pronouns and like book bans, like all of those things are really important, but also like none of it matters if you don't have a place to live.
And he's pricing people out with
money.
Rents.
Yeah, like it all goes up, and like it's literally happening randomly to people getting dropped, and these insurance companies are dropping them because they have to. They have to go through and see age of the house is the big one now. And if your house was built before 1980,
and that's like all of our houses, P.S.
Yeah. Like, unless you live in a development that's like a brand new development, like your house is built before 1980. Yeah. And so what are people supposed to do? And if you have a mortgage, you have to have it. You have
to have it. So that's like the big thing, like and I know people who do not have mortgages who have not paid insurance in years because they're like, I may as well pocket that money.
Yeah.
And if something happens, then the money I would have spent on insurance, I have that money. Because what these insurance companies do, and we've talked to people about it on the podcast before, and we've talked about it just between us before, is that, the damage is worth, $100,000. And these insurance companies have, adjusters and attorneys and all of this that they will negotiate. Mm-hmm. And they'll go, okay, how about $20,000, and they come back $30,000. So you're really supposed to, it's $100,000 in damage. You're lucky you get $20,000. And it's like, so why are you paying?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to cover. I don't think anybody would ever get the full cost of what it would be to say, God forbid, their whole house, like if it was a Hurricane Andrew situation and your whole house is leveled, you're not getting the money to rebuild that house.
Right.
You're not. So it's like, what are we paying for?
Right.
And if you're in a mortgage, then you're
the
stuck.
bank
You're
trapped. Requires it.
You're trapped.
But like even the paying for your insurance all those years and you never have a claim. Let's say you lose your roof in a hurricane.
Yeah.
It's $25,000 to get a new roof. So why would the insurance company even want to negotiate that? Just replace the roof. You're really literally not losing. The problem though too is that we have more storms. They're more devastating, and they can't afford it. And they're giving these giant bonuses to their CEOs, and that's where the money's going.
That's where the money is going. There's money. There's plenty of money in insurance to cover these bills. And people are getting bonuses and bonuses and bonuses and bonuses. And, I get it. Like, it's, have your job, get your bonus. But at the same time, like, how do these CEOs, like, or anyone making money off the backs of other people's, like, their lives being destroyed, like, it's kind of gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
And there's nothing anybody's doing about it. I mean, they had a special session. We've talked about this before, but they didn't do anything for consumers. They didn't do anything for homeowners. They did everything to make it harder for us to actually hold these insurance companies accountable. We're paying for a product. We're paying for something, and they're not fulfilling their end of the deal. Like, that's fucked up. It's not just sit there and collect money and then that's the end of your day. Like, that's not how this works. This is a give and take sort of thing that sometimes we never have to take. Like the majority of people pay homeowners insurance and never have an issue. Fucking pay up, bitch.
But the other thing too is the bill that is for the landlords to jack up rent. Yeah. There's no rent control. And sure, there's going to be some people, landlords that, are going to be, honest and not screw over their tenants. But there's going to be others that are going to absolutely try to make as much money as they can. And if that means like you can't live in their apartment, somebody else will.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, it's unaffordable. And I don't understand, like, there's more regular, normal, middle-class folks here and poor folks than there are rich people.
Yeah.
And we are discarded and not thought of. And of course we're not, especially with DeSantis. My favorite thing though is that DeSantis fucking went ape shit on the budget. He finally signed the budget this week, which is the legislature's only real job, is to go up there and pass a budget. But he line item vetoed shit that is wild.
Yeah. And I have one of those vetoes on here.
And one of the things that's wild about it too is that he fucked with Republicans. Like, he fucked with people who endorsed Trump.
Yeah.
He went after their districts.
Yeah.
People in their districts aren't going to have less than for projects, for libraries, for new fire stations, because they endorsed Trump over him.
This is a guy who we have seen, just based off of the Disney scenario alone, who is vindictive. Mm-hmm. He is vindictive. And you want to put a guy like this on the federal level? He is vindictive. He will come after states and not give funding. I was reading about the vetoing of the zoo funding, Brevard Zoo, because Brevard Zoo, I guess Randy Fine, that jerk off.
That douche! What an asshole! Go look up that fucking motherfucker's face.
So gross. He's just
one of those. He's probably one of those kids in school that you just want to punch in the fucking face. You know what I mean?
So this jerk had like some kind of campaign event, and people protested outside of the zoo because of his stance on transgender rights and whatnot. The guy's a horrible human being. And the zoo then was like, well, maybe we won't hold campaign events here anymore because, you know.
We're a business, we're going to make money, we got to pay for these fucking animals.
Right. Like, so now because of Randy Fine, the zoo is going to lose like millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and DeSantis vetoes that funding.
Yeah.
So again, this is not a person who has the interest of businesses or people or anyone. All he is interested in is who is going to kiss his ass and do what he wants. And if you're not on that list, he will screw you over.
And like, let's not forget that Randy Fine is the one who carried the water for Disney and is the one who was sitting there railing, put all those bills against Disney, all those, that was Randy Fine. So of course he's going to get whatever the fuck he wants. Here's some things in Broward, like South Florida, that got vetoed that are fucking wild. A senior center in Hallandale Beach, $111,000 was vetoed. A fire station in Oakland Park. So also what was vetoed, which is like my favorite, it's a $250,000 workforce development program, which was sought by Florida Senator Rosalind Osgood, who's from Broward, and Chip LaMarca. Okay, so he vetoed, which was a program, program that he was like, $250,000 is a lot of money. Now, this is a piece of shit who voted party lines, except for the 6-week abortion ban, on everything. He threatened libraries recently because he thought his dick was bigger than it was. Yeah. And this motherfucker still was like, fuck you, I'm taking $250,000 from you. What the fuck?
What's up, Chip? I thought you guys were buddies.
What the fuck, bro?
I thought you guys were paisan, the two of you.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess not.
He brought you to the courthouse and like made you stand next to him during a fucking press conference about voter fraud, election fraud, and now every time one of those cases is thrown out, your dumbass picture is right next to Governor DeSantis, looking dopey as you are. You are a fucking dope.
That's embarrassing.
It's fucking embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. It
like
really is.
You think that you are more than what you are.
Yeah. Nobody likes you.
You're a peon.
Yeah, nobody likes you.
No one likes you.
And also,
God,
you're really little. I cannot stand that guy.
Little LaMarca.
Here's another thing. Gavin Newsom, I'm sure you watch on Fox News.
Ooh.
Bitch. I retweeted, I'm like, could have had a bad bitch. I mean, this is what it looks like.
He's good.
This is what it looks like to have a candidate or an elected. Now, again, don't write to me from California and say, here's all the bad things.
No,
I'm sure that there's things he's not living up to.
However,
I get
the economy of that state is one of the more than anything competing worldwide.
Come on. I mean,
competing worldwide.
Yeah.
And
he kept saying, that's not Florida. And I'm like, all right, we know, Gavin. We fucking know it's not Florida.
He also is putting forth a constitutional amendment on gun control.
Which I think probably would have been part of his presidential platform if he had given a chance.
Which is not taking guns away from people. It's taking, war weapons out of people's hands. But it's still honoring the Second Amendment, so you could still have your guns. Right. But it's putting a lot of control on that, on having mental health background checks, on raising the age to 21. I mean, we talked about, I think last week, that cigarettes now you gotta be 21 years old to buy. Yeah. Back in my day. Back in my day. You could be 18 and please, at 17, you're like, hey, go get me a pack of cigarettes. Yeah. Or when I was a kid, I could go to the store and buy my dad's cigarettes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, now 21 years old, but at 18, you can have a gun. Make it make sense. Yeah, and I'm sure the numbers are pretty good as far as like, this is the impact. If all of these things happen, this is the impact it would have on things. Like, this is how many less people would die. Because they can literally do that now. Is come up with those numbers because there's been plenty of data. A lot of data, data. And with your, raising it to 21, they've done so many studies over the years that like the brain isn't fully developed really till 25. And with men, it's really like 50. Impulsivity and all of that. Like, just, what is wrong with just adding a couple more years? Yeah. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I don't know. Girl, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's a new school board superintendent in Broward County. Yep. Tina was on that. Can we talk about that? Yeah. Yeah. Tina was asked to be a part of the community questions. Is that what it was? Yes. So she was one of like maybe, what is it? It was 18. 18 people who got to ask a question.
So are you happy with who was chosen? Was it the best of what we had available?
I think it was the best of the three.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, school board is
and
is wild.
I have to say, like, I liked his answer regarding protecting LGBTQ students. He was pretty forthright. He gave a really good example, and so, you know, and he seems diplomatic.
Okay.
You know, like he seems like I think he could handle himself.
Because when you're there, you know, you're working, this person is who they hire, but then he has to work with elected people.
Yes.
Who then answer to many other people, right? Constituents.
Correct,
and so he's got to deal with and manage some personalities, honey. Some personalities. And so, good luck to him. What's his last? Licata?
Licata.
So, good luck. Welcome, Superintendent Licata. I look forward to, as a parent with someone in Broward County Schools, I look forward to you pulling it all together.
Me too.
Enough shenanigans, Superintendent Licata. Let's fucking go.
And he was very specific with his like 90-day plan. And so
great.
Let's see.
What I will ask of the board is give him the 90 days and the room to make those sort of changes. Do not fuck with this guy, because what they do is like, somebody's like, here's my plan, and they're like, nope, he didn't get it on time, but actually it's only been 60 days, so you gotta go. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, give this person the space in the room. This is just like trying to elect Democrats. It's going to take time. It's a long-term plan to get this county and the school system back on track. We need the space and the breathing room to do it. Don't have expectations that things are going to change overnight, because this school board is so unpredictable. I feel like you never know what the fuck's going to happen. I just want some peace there. I'm sure the rest of them do too.
I think so. God. I had two. So one thing that I was happy to see, it was a SCOTUS thing, but with the Indigenous kids.
Yes.
Did you see that? So Indigenous kids up for adoption now can stay on tribal lands, where before they were like removed from that. And I was, you know, surprised that it passed. I mean, our favorite Amy Coney Barrett didn't vote for it, but you know, it's to be expected.
Yeah. I mean, a white Christian home is what's best, I suppose.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson much? Jesus.
And then I saw this clip from this guy. I don't know if you saw it. It just reminded me of how scary and insane these fundamental religious people are. Ooh. That keep having their hands in our politics. And there's a guy, a right-wing pastor called Kent Christmas or something. Ugh. And he's making statements to his congregation, and he's talking politics. And he says, you know, he said something along the lines of like, you know why Muslims have had the advancements that they've had? It's because they're willing to strap bombs to their chest. And like, that's what we need to be doing. This is now where that movement is going.
Yeah.
The Christian right?
Yeah. I mean, that's not surprising to me.
It's scary though.
Yeah, it's scary. Timothy McVeigh.
It's scary.
Same thing. Yeah.
Because like now we got to worry about religious fundamentalists strapping bombs or showing up at, you know what I mean?
And they're not going to be looked at. Because of white supremacy, they're not even going to be suspected of anything.
And those extremists, and it's not Muslims, it's extremists, right? That do those acts, and they give themselves up, and then like now you're going to try to train. Yeah. This is what you want from the people in your congregation, to give their lives and to hurt people? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, they've lost their way.
I'm sick of it.
They've lost their way. And I got to tell you, this sort of speech should be illegal.
And
we should not be allowing
paying taxes.
Yeah, we should not be, that's right. We should not be allowing what breeds that sort of terrorism to be allowed to speak. That's terrorism. If there was anybody else, you know, instructing a group of people to do that, they'd be arrested. Yep. Like, you're inciting violence.
Yeah, if it was any other group other than white Christian male doing it, people would be outraged.
I mean, there should be a warning before they walk into that church.
And there's people bringing children to that.
Yeah, no.
And like kids are being raised in that, but like we have to fight this hard to keep that belief going. It is frightening.
Well, it's also,
and I don't want to be around it.
But I don't
want to be around. I don't want to see it anymore.
I hear you. But I think they're also, that kind of speech comes from a fear of they know they're losing. They know that people don't go to church as often as they should, that not like they used to. They have doubts about
I wonder why.
all of this. Yeah, because it's fucking nutty shit.
Hateful.
And when you take that turn, you are taking, you're going to have a loss there, and it's not going to come back the right way, not the way that you think it's going to come back. And by the way, if that's what you want to do, you go do it. Stop telling people to fucking blow themselves up. You want to kill yourself for God? Gone. But stop fucking leading everybody else down that path.
Yeah, that's always my favorite thing. Is like the cult leader. It's like, this is what you need to do.
Let's all drink this Kool-Aid. Yeah, let's all drink this Kool-Aid. Because I have watched Jonestown. I have watched the sweet Keep Sweet, the one about the Jeffries guy for the polygamist cult.
That is
I've watched the Duggar family, Happy People. I've watched the Nexium one that's on HBO. These are all cults. The one Wild Wild Country.
Oh, Wild Country was so good.
They all start out in this like, it's really like legitimate people. Like, this is just how our life is, and we're comfortable. Yeah. Even the polygamous stuff is like, all right, well, they're about a community, they're building something, and then you get one person who comes in, and the first thing they do is tell you that the government's coming to get you, and they instill this fear of like evil, and people get wrapped up in it. I'm the only
savior for
That's
you.
Right.
As soon as someone says they can save you, run away.
Yeah. And when they say the government's coming, it's because they know they're doing something wrong, right? Like David Koresh knew in Waco, which, by the way, I don't know if you've watched that Waco documentary on Netflix. It's fucking great. The government involvement was fucking wild when they came onto that compound. I mean, it was what a shit show. But anyway, that's how they get everybody involved, is they just instill fear over and over again. And it's a pattern that has happened so many fucking times, and people just fall for it because they're looking for answers, and they get taken advantage of. These people should be locked the fuck up. Yeah. Lock them up. They're evil. They're evil people. And the worst part is, like, every time these cults, like, maybe we talked about this with on the show last week, but like, everybody involved, like, I just never thought I'd ever, like, when they go out, I was in a cult, like, it's just so weird to even say it. Like, they never imagined that they could ever fall for shenanigans like this.
It scares me.
But if you're weak and you had that moment of like, you're just so desperate to find answers. Like, I could imagine being in that position and you get one bad person in front of you. Ugh. That's it. It's actually like really bad luck. Yeah.
And it's always someone that, they're always
charming,
charismatic, and they can speak well. Like, I mean, that to me is interesting too, is like just the way that they can manipulate. Yeah.
And probably could be very successful in a different part of their life. Yeah. They could probably be a successful businessman or whatever. Yeah. But they chose this, which is fucking evil.
It's cuckoo.
It's evil.
Cuckoo.
And it's always a dude.
No.
And he's always, and the end result is always he wants to fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other part.
God.
They're always fucking with little girls, or all your wives are now my wives, and he's always fucking everybody. So that's where your whole plan kind of falls apart when it becomes about your dick. Like, you know what I mean? Because they get so powerful, all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute. Everyone should be sucking my dick. Like, it's so fucking wild. Meanwhile, women get empowered, and I don't think that's what happens.
No.
Bruh. So, do you have anything else?
No.
So my last thing is that we are talking to Senator Lauren Book today. So fucking excited to talk to her.
So excited.
She's been all over the place talking about reproductive rights. She had a hell of a fucking session. And I think this is her last term coming up because she's termed out, and I'm sad to see her leave the Florida Senate. And
I feel like she's got to have something.
I hope so. I hope there's a plan so she can stay involved, because she's an incredible woman.
We need her. We
were at that meeting with her last week, and I just keep thinking about like her presence. And she always makes it a point to like point me out and say something, and I'm always like, oh my god, I have such a crush on fucking Lauren Book.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And we're fucking so lucky to have her.
Very down to earth, very like,
she says motherfucker as often as I do, and that's my kinship. That's a sisterhood to me.
Oh,
all right, let's go. You ready?
Okay, I am.
Ooh.
All right, today I'm going to tell you the story of Virginia State Senator Joe Morrissey.
Okay.
So Joe Morrissey was known for his courtroom antics before moving into politics, but despite his controversial past and inappropriate relationship, he was reelected to office in an unexpected political comeback.
Wow.
Of course he was. All right, so our story takes place in Richmond, Virginia, primarily around like 2013 or so. And the reason I picked this story is because despite what this guy has done, people still vote for him. And it reminds me of Trump and the recent indictment.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. Like, if he's sitting in a jail cell and his name is still on the ballot, people are going to check the box.
That's true.
They're going to check the box next to this man's name.
Yeah.
There's going to be a percentage of people that do it.
Yeah.
And it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind.
Man, it is. It's wild. It is wild.
Like, what are you thinking, people?
I don't know. And that's okay. I feel like we should just understand and be good with there will be a group of people who still want to support him. And you know what? Peace. Have a good life. I'm really sorry that you're out of check with reality. Like, you don't even understand. But that's cool. And let them go. But it's not enough to win the presidency. We know that. There are not enough people who support him to win the presidency.
God not.
There's not. There's not.
But my biggest fear is like, oh my God, they're going to fall away from Trump and they're going to put all their eggs in the DeSantis basket. And that scares the hell out of him.
I mean, out of that lineup of Republicans, he seems like the most logical choice to me.
Yeah. I would prefer, what's his face? Bridgegate.
Oh, Christie.
Yeah.
Christie's going to give him a run for his fucking money. Because Chris Christie don't fucking play.
I mean,
he's like he reminds me of Tony Soprano a little bit.
Listen, this guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's a pompous fool.
Yeah.
But I would prefer him because he won't be as crazy.
He won't. He is going to talk. He like Andrew Gillum will run circles around DeSantis by talking shit during we know where DeSantis isn't good in debates. He's like this.
Scared little boy.
He looks like this. Hit dog will holler.
Ooh. Okay. So let's get into some background.
Let's go.
Morrissey was born in 1957. He started his career back in the early 80s after earning his law degree. He served as the Commonwealth's attorney for Richmond, Virginia from 1989 to 1993. And a Commonwealth attorney basically is a DA. They just call it Commonwealth attorney. And he also taught law school abroad in Ireland and Australia in the early 2000s, according to his bio on Just the Facts, VoteSmart website. So other political seats, according to Ballotpedia, from 2008 to 2015, he was a member of the Virginia House for District 74 as a Democrat. In 2015, he got elected again to the same seat, but this time as an independent. He then resigned from that seat in 2015, and he ran for the Virginia State Senate as a Democrat again. He didn't get enough signatures, and then he tried to run as an independent, but then he withdrew. And then he ran again in 2020, and this time won. He's currently on the ballot for re-election, and it takes place this month of June of 2023. So he's back under as like a Democrat.
What's the independent Democrat thing? Why?
I'll get into that. Okay. So what I found most interesting about this guy is the trouble he got in as an attorney, like prior to, even like while he was like this Commonwealth attorney. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Morrissey had this reputation as a litigator. And there was an article called Punch the Defense that notes that he had 16 disciplinary incidents as an attorney.
What?
Yeah. So, for example, in 1991, while an elected Commonwealth attorney, Morrissey wrote to a judge he had a disagreement with. This judge, his name was John P. Driscoll, and he stated, quote, "Although I was unfailingly courteous to you, it was evident to everybody that you were trying to bait me. Please be assured, Mr. Driscoll, that if that behavior ever happens again, I will not be so kind as to merely draft you a letter of indignation."
Oh my God.
Like basically threatening a judge. And then later in the same year, according to the article, he allegedly got in a fist fight with opposing counsel on a case and was held in contempt of court.
Holy shit.
A CNN article adds some details to the fight, stating that Morrissey said, quote, "I punched his lights out. He had to be taught some manners." Ooh. He went to jail for 5 days.
Jesus.
And this is sort of, so he has this nickname, Fighting Joe, because he's just, like always getting into it with people.
Yeah.
And the Sydney Morning Herald also noted that in 1993, again, while still elected as a Commonwealth attorney, this is like not just some regular attorney, he's a DA, right?
He really loves justice. He's passionate. He's very passionate.
He's very passionate. His law license was suspended for 6 months.
Oh, no!
Yes. Why? Because during a rape case, he had the defendant plead guilty to a misdemeanor. So basically he's like, I'll get you out of this. You'll get the misdemeanor, and on the condition that the defendant's dad had to give $25,000 to the victim and another $25,000 to some charities. So he's like, okay, we can get you off, but you got to pay the victim. You got to pay some money to these charities. But none of it was disclosed in court. So like, you can't kind of like make these deals and the court has no idea like what you're doing.
That doesn't, yeah.
And then like when I was reading, like the victim wanted more money and it was like, no, like this is all you're going to get. And it's like, you're manipulating the system.
Yeah.
So,
and you can't pay for like, you know, that sounds really fucking weird.
It's weird. And then a CNN article by Chris Saliza notes that he also lost his license in 2003 and again in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's like always getting into trouble.
There's so many red flags. What the fuck are you doing, Virginia?
Yeah, but hey, they're electing him, so.
No!
And I also want to hit on like some of the issues. So he's a Catholic and he's known, so even though he's a Democrat.
Oh boy.
He's known for being very, 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 very anti-abortion.
Go fuck yourself!
Yes. And again, like have your religious beliefs all you want, but don't bring that into your political stance.
Yeah. By the way, can I punch you in the face when I hear this? When I hear that, that's what I want to do. I really got to teach you a lesson.
So on a good note, he is pro-gun control and he's for gun reform. However, in 2013, he made headlines because he brought an AK-47 onto the Virginia House floor.
You know what?
And he's holding
Tina, is that the end of the story? Because that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So he scared folks when, according to Delegate Todd Gilbert, who said at the time, when he pulled the weapon out with the bolt closed and the magazine inserted and thumb on the trigger, we were all a little shocked.
What the fuck?
So I asked the speaker to instruct him to please take his thumb out of the trigger guard with a weapon no one was quite sure was unloaded.
Bruh. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And then I thought this was really funny. So there was some drama back in 1993 where he allegedly lost an Uzi and a Tech 9 that he, quote, borrowed from the forensic lab. So he like, took these weapons from the forensic lab, right? And just left them in his car. And they were like, yo, where are these weapons? And he's like, I don't know, because someone stole them out of his car.
Oh my God! What the fuck? Yeah. I just keep thinking, like, who else could get away with this? This is such white man confidence. My God! I just want a little bit of it. Just give me a little bit of fucking white man confidence. Steal guns from fucking forensic, and then they get lost. And he's like, "Whoops,
yeah, sorry,
whoopsie, my bad, my bad."
So he,
holy shit,
it's so funny. He left them unattended, and they never found the Tech 9. The Uzi though was eventually found in the locker of a heroin addict. So
what?
Yeah, who knows?
What a dick. This guy's such a dick.
So,
no!
Let's get into it.
He's fucking around. This guy, you know he's got BDE badly. You can tell.
Allegedly, back in 2013, Morrissey was accused of having an inappropriate relationship with his then intern, Myrna Pride, who was 17 years old at the time. Now, remember, he's around 56 years old.
I know, but there's part of me that's like, what the fuck?
Blech. All right, so
also, girl, he's like, 56.
What are you doing? Ew. So
that wrinkled dick coming at you.
So according to Ashley Monfort of NBC 12, police were called to his house.
Oh my God!
And found Myrna there. After the investigation, they allegedly found that Morrissey took her out to dinner several times. That they had sex at the office several times, allegedly, because there were text messages between them that where they talked about it and proving that. Yeah. And allegedly, she sent him a nude photo, which he requested, and which he then sent to a friend. So now that's electronic transmission
of a minor.
Of a minor.
Oh my God! What? You are such a fucking asshole. Yes. People voted for this fucking guy. What is wrong? What's going on there? Yes. Just run a potato against him. You'll win. This is fucking wild.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Oh my God.
So on a side note, both of them claimed that the phone was hacked and it was a setup.
Stop it. Can people please stop saying shit like that? That is such a lame fucking excuse. Yeah. Stop it. Take responsibility.
Your phone.
Nobody wants your
both of your phones.
Yeah. I stole the Uzi, but not the phone.
So the charges. According to Ashley Monfort of NBC 12, he had the following charges against him: supervisory indecent liberties with a minor, electronic solicitation of a minor, possession of child pornography and distribution of child pornography.
Holy shit.
Contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And she also noted, quote, those charges could have led to a prison term of up to 30 years and would have forced Morrissey to register as a sex offender.
Sounds great.
Okay.
But,
so, according to ABC News 13, Morrissey enters an Alford plea, which we've talked about before on the podcast. An Alford plea basically allows a defendant to plead guilty while maintaining their innocence. So basically it's acknowledging, yes, there's enough evidence to prosecute. So because he makes this deal, he ends up really getting only the charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and all the rest is gone. And
why are they doing that? Why would they give him that gift?
They gave it to him.
That's fucking ridiculous.
One of Morrissey's lawyers stated, quote, let me state unequivocally and categorically that he believes he is not guilty.
Wow.
Yep.
In what universe does that even make fucking sense? So, and they should have prosecuted him. Shame on you.
But
Shame on you.
This gets even crazier.
Oh, God.
So at the time, the girl Myrna and her mom said that nothing inappropriate happened between them.
What?
But prosecutors saw things differently, stating, quote, she spent the night with him at a hotel in Norfolk in October when she was still 17. And they were seen together off and on, dating across Richmond during the entire investigation.
Oh my God!
And Montfort also reported that as a result of the plea, he got 12 months in jail, with 6 of those months suspended. So 6 months. Now here's where it gets great. There was a special election because, he has to step down like when he gets this conviction.
Right.
So this is where that independent Democrat thing comes into play.
Okay.
Right?
Because they already had a Dem running, and so for him to be back in the race,
and he had to resign out of that seat.
Right.
So there's a special election. He resigns in the fall, and then January there's this special. I think he's convicted in December of 2014, and then special election is January 2015. He wins while in jail.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's serving time.
42.3% of the vote, according to Gary Robinson's Reuters article. The article also notes a political science professor from the University of Mary Washington, Stephen Farnsworth, commenting, quote, it's really astonishing that a man with more baggage than Amtrak has been elected from his jail cell.
Holy shit.
His jail cell.
But he's in the jail cell because he's fucking a minor.
Yes.
Women don't matter. This girl is going to be fucked up. I mean, what she has been taken advantage of here.
Oh, it gets even better.
Oh, God.
So he's been allowed to have work release during 6 months in prison so he can practice law and continue to serve in the Virginia House.
Virginia.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? God, you're supposed to be, one of the oldest, wisest states.
Yeah, no.
This isn't Florida. This is a Florida man.
This is a Florida man.
In Virginia. I mean, my God. My God.
Oh, my God. So
did he marry this girl? What happened? Are they
he ended up staying together, and they have 3 children.
What? Wait a minute. This happened not that long ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago?
Yeah. They have 3 kids. They have 3 young kids. In 2022,
But I thought they weren't seeing each other.
They end up getting together when she's 18 or something.
Oh, fuck you.
In 2022, the outgoing Virginia governor, Ralph Northam, pardoned Morrissey for his inappropriate relationship. The AP noted that he pardoned about 1,200 folks, stating, quote, Virginians are forgiving people who believe in second chances. When people make mistakes and pay their debts, they deserve the opportunity to return and be productive members of society. This is a guy who took advantage of a child who was working. Yes, they got married later.
Yeah.
But the dynamics there, why did she marry him?
Yeah. This reminds me of the story that I did where the guy was never married before, and then he starts fucking around with the 17-year-old, and then they get married and have kids, and they're still together. Remember that? And he looks like he's literally in his 70s, and she's in her 20s, and they got this baby, and it looks like grandpa's in the picture. And maybe those are 2 cases out of a million women who are sexually harassed as minors, right? Maybe those are 2 we were really in love cases. Maybe that is the case. Maybe they really were in love. but you could have kept your dick in your pants until she was 18. That's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
And guess what? This is an intern. Leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Let her do this work. Let her learn. Why can't she come and be part of politics and be part of this and have this internship, which was probably such a great opportunity? And you got to go and mess with this child. This is a child.
It was a good opportunity for him, too. This is where he meets his future wives.
So gross.
He fucks with little kids.
So Morrissey on the pardon had this to say, as I've said repeatedly on the floor of the state Senate, when you show compassion to other people and mercy, it's not a sign of weakness, but usually just the opposite, strength. He's so gross.
He has no strength. If he had strength, he'd keep his dick in his pants.
Right.
So if that was my daughter, I'd lose my fucking mind.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine my 17-year-old daughter coming to me and telling me she's in love with a 56-year-old?
Like,
I'd fucking... what?
Yeah.
This is now going to be your life?
Yeah.
Being married, having 3 children with somebody who's 4 times your age?
Ew. And you know he had to be controlling. Ugh. So...
I got to see a picture of this fucking guy.
It seems... So some points of interest.
Yeah.
This guy never stops being Fighting Joe. In 2022, radio show hosts attempted to get restraining orders against Morrissey because he allegedly threatened them during an interview. But according to Graham Mumma and Raul Sharma of the Virginia Mercury, the judge dismissed the charges. Morrissey stated in quote that he said, quote, "Get the fuck out of my office." And he said he called the station manager a fat fucking pig, but insisted, quote, "At no time did I ever say I'll kick your ass." Like, this guy is such a jerk. He's a jerk.
By the way, I just pulled up pictures of him.
Yes. So
Morrissey's what? There's a picture of him and his wife in like old Confederate gear. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
She's black, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, this picture is insane.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
So Morrissey's wife, the former intern, who he allegedly had the relationship with prior to her turning 18, is currently filing for divorce this year. And she alleges now that there was abuse. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, she said that there wasn't earlier. But again, she was a child, right? Who may have been manipulated into a relationship. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so... he had control. I feel like you have control. You are an adult.
Look at this picture.
She is a child.
I know I keep interrupting your story, but the
Incredibles, yeah.
They have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I feel so sad for her. God damn it.
Yes.
Fuck.
So, needless to say, the divorce is looking ugly. According to ABC News 8, she's accusing him of infidelity, manipulation, and parental absence. Mm-mm. Morrissey retaliated, claiming that his wife's new boyfriend has been physically abusing the kids.
You don't do shit like that. Don't fuck around like that.
Yep.
Don't fuck around like that. You use those Children Protective Services to try to fuck with your divorce. It's not going to look good for you. Judges don't like that.
Another article by CBS News 6's Cameron Thompson noted that Morrissey was banned by the sheriff from the Henrico jail after an incident with his kids. So allegedly, he goes to the jail and he leaves the kids unattended. Ugh. And he had the 3 kids were there at the time, 8, 7, and 5 years old. And they tried to tell him that you can't leave these kids unattended, right? And he allegedly just ignored them. And he was meeting someone in jail who was in custody at the time. And the article notes that when they kept trying to get him to look after the kids, he eventually got belligerent, which tracks because of his behavior over the years. Yeah. And as a result, he is no longer allowed at that jail's West and East facilities for 90 days. The transcript of the conversation is in the article, but allegedly he came out a couple of times because the kids weren't staying where he asked them to stay. Now, they're 8, 7, and 5. Like, they're not going to stay. They're kids. They're going to get bored. And he allegedly came out and he called the kids selfish. And then he asked the person who was like around, there was somebody, a worker who happened to be in the area and was like, hey, watch the kids for me. And that person was like, I can't do that. No.
Oh my God.
And Morrissey allegedly replied, I'll do what I want. I can just send them to the car. How about that? Then they went to the parking lot to the car alone. And when he was confronted about leaving his kids in the parking lot, he supposedly said, quote, fuck you. You don't tell me what to do with my fucking kids. You are nothing but a fucking deputy. I'll tell you what I'm going to call the sheriff and show you who I am.
Wow.
This guy, I mean, to me, he's abusive.
Major piece of shit. Major piece of shit. Isn't it against the law to leave your kids in a car unsupervised?
Yes.
Like, But also, this is what happens when you allow someone to break the law over and over again and continue to live his life the way. He should not have his law license ever again.
No.
He should have been fucking thrown in jail for 30 years for abusing and sharing photos of a minor. I mean, if you were her or her parents and found out that he shared a nude photo of your daughter with someone else, isn't that enough of a reason to press charges against this person and see it through? That's what
I'm wondering.
Like see it through.
Unless he's telling her, "I love you, I love you, I love you," and she's young.
He should manipulate. If somebody, now I've had to have this conversation with both of my children. You don't ask for a nude photo, and you don't give a nude photo. And if somebody says, "If you love me, you'll send me this picture,"
they don't love you.
They don't love you. And if he's sharing the picture, it's one thing to share an intimate photo with someone you love, but if they share it with somebody else, break up with them. Like, that person doesn't respect you as a human being, dummy. And you know what? It's not her fault she's a dummy. She's 17.
She's a kid.
17 years old. You fucking... Virginia has failed this. They should sue the state for failing this girl.
It's a shame.
Fuck you. Now she's got 4 kids with this fucking lunatic.
Yep.
Leaving his kids in the car to jail. Oh, Tina, why do you bring these stories to my door? I cannot believe.
I saw this story.
That's insane. This is a crazy story.
It's a crazy story. And I said, but they keep electing him. And June is here. June is here. So I'm very curious to see, are they going to elect this man again?
He's a piece of shit.
Is he going to be elected again?
Now, I looked at his picture. He's semi-good looking. But when you hear all of this, he just looks like a fucking creep. And that the Confederate photo with this black wife is fucking weird. Like, she's all up in this bell, like, what's that movie? Gone with the Wind kind of getup. I mean, in those days, she would not be dressed as the belle of the ball. Do we all understand the irony in this fucking picture? It's fucking weird. He's dressed like a Confederate soldier.
It's weird.
It's fucking weird. He's a weirdo.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm glad that she's making a step to try to get away from him, but how can you expect anything different? This person showed you who he was from the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
He showed you who he was.
And then imagine, like, you're pregnant.
And she looks very young. She looks very young. She's beautiful, but she looks like a baby.
Yeah.
And do we not think it's weird when adults are attracted to 17-year-olds?
It's weird.
Don't we call that pedophilia? Like, I'm sorry. If they're minors, it doesn't matter if they have, they look like they have womanly bodies. They're young and their brains are not there yet. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You took advantage of this girl. Took advantage of her. Yeah. Fuck you, man.
I hope that I hope that this divorce goes well for her. I hope, you know what I mean?
Just get away from him. Yeah, get away from this fucking guy.
He's someone that is going to
now she got
make
kids.
It so hard.
And she's got now she's got kids with him. She's linked to this fucking...
Forever.
But I'm going to say something dark, and I don't give a fuck how it lands. And I don't care who hears it. At least he'll be dead soon.
Woo!
The good thing is he is 40 years older than you, and he won't be around much longer. At least for a good part of their life, you get to raise these kids by yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, he's a fucking creep.
He's a creep.
Go away. I mean, he on every level has been a complete asshole. Taking guns from a forensic lab or a forensic closet, and then they get stolen. Yeah. I mean, what a fucking
getting
dick.
your law license revoked, and you're in an elected position, like, but people keep electing him, and I get the whole name recognition, like, I get that, but at the same time, like, he's been in the news for doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
And you can put all the pictures up of your happy little family. That doesn't take away, like, from what you are. But it's Virginia. Like, maybe I don't know. Like,
I don't know either. Like, what's the percentage of voters turning out? Like, what's happening? Special election, not a lot of people show up.
And you got to show up. Anti-abortion and a Democrat. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what?
And by the way,
I'm so sick of it.
I'm surprised more women haven't come out and said things about him.
There was one woman that did come out.
Shocked.
I believe it was in 2016. It was Kanika Shani Morris, who was then 35, and she alleged that Morrissey exposed himself to her and tried to pressure her for sex. But a judge in the case, quote, allowed her to withdraw a guilty plea for failure to return this rental car amid the accusations. He denied it all. I couldn't find anything more on this, so it doesn't seem like he was charged with anything or anything like that. But I don't know. Again, it tracks. It tracks.
Totally tracks. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past this guy.
So,
All right, well, great story, Tina. Please, let's get an update when that election happens.
Yes.
Because then I'm coming after Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, you motherfuckers. And I have no room to talk because we have a horrible governor, and my state rep is a piece of shit, too.
I know. I mean, we know
what piece of
Virginians. We know.
Come on.
But there's not a better Democratic candidate.
Yeah, I mean, what's the party like there? You guys don't have another fucking person you can put up? Fuck this guy.
I don't know.
Dick. It's that, and they get caught in that name recognition cycle, so people know who he is, and they're just like, oh, that name looks familiar, and that's what happens. And they don't know the rest of it. Oy, it's a fucking pedophile.
So gross.
All right, well, I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.